Following on from the last video about the Descent comms, this one will continue with the Claire Ortiz storyline around the simulation program she is building, the NSA analyst, which is quickly becoming one of my favorites, and we'll even have a couple of potentially new stories starting up. Like always, there will be references to other videos I've made on these comms, so if you haven't seen them yet, you can find them in the description.
Trig, I need a favor.
Anything for my favorite evil genius.
I'm not evil.
Just a genius.
What do you expect from a trapezoid?
God, I love your sense of humor. What do you need?
Need you to do a field test on those new warhounds for Nat.
Already did. Aside from the creepy biped action, they're working great.
I want you to run the test again, with Anna.
You know Nat doesn't want the AI.
She wants the guidance system. How does she expect the Warhound's guidance system to operate independently without an AI?
Fine, but if she hates it, you can remove Anna, right? She's not just gonna slip in there and corrupt or rewrite the code or anything like that, right?
Of course not. She's just here to collect data. She's not a person, Trey. She's not even a shape. Just a series of ones and zeros. Don't be paranoid. It's not like she could augment reality and murder the operators.
Carrying on with Claire's attempt to upspec and get as much as possible out of Natalya's budget towards Cal's agent training simulation program, Matthias is asked by Claire to field test the Warhounds again, except this time using Anna. She and Trig obviously get along well. I guess both of them being crazy smart gives them a common ground to discuss things that would go far over the head of most people. However, Claire is a little bit more manipulative. Matthias is exceptionally loyal to Natalya and expresses concern, but Claire convinces him that it's just for further testing and that it won't impact anything Natalya is after. Further to other comms we've received regarding this, Claire is continuing to use Natalya's funding and now personnel to continue working on assets that Natalya wants no part of.
Sir, we need to abandon the site.
What site?
The detention center.
What's happening?
Confirmed contamination.
What kind of contamination?
Chimera.
Not the shit in New York.
Affirmative.
How the hell did it get here?
Asymptomatic carrier. She was in New York before being arrested at the mall.
One of the protesters? I knew we shouldn't have let DCPD use our detention center.
No, this was one of ours. Eco-terrorist was arrested trying to light a Christmas tree on fire.
We stopped that attack in New York before all of this happened.
The same group tried again in DC a week later. Isaac intercepted their comms.
At least that's working.
We need more space. We need to quarantine the staff from the detention center and move our operations from the data center. It's too risky to stay here long term.
Report to the testing facility. We'll set up a quarantine.
I'll let the teams know.
Give me a day to get it all set up. In the meantime, isolate and see if we can find a way to rapid test for infected.
We don't need a rapid test.
Since when?
Isaac can detect viral loads.
Well, that's not terrifying.
Infected need to be separated. We don't know what the recovery rate is. Infected doesn't mean dying. And we can study the asymptomatic carriers, maybe use their blood to find a vaccine. We could get ahead of this thing.
You're a virologist now?
No, but Amherst is.
The college professor?
Yeah, the not a viable threat. He made this. If we can get into his apartment or office, we might be able to reverse engineer this bullshit he created. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to swear. I'm just very tired.
It's fine. We all are. Get everyone packed and ready and bring whatever you need to the facility to continue working on containing this thing.
Thank you, sir.
This is from after the dollar flu outbreak and is referencing two of the classified assignments, NSA Site B13 and the detention center. At the NSA site, agents uncovered intel that spoke about more early warnings around Gordon Amherst, but also an eco-terrorist called Erica Gonzalez. Erica was part of a group that planned to set fire to a Christmas tree in a New York mall, likely Abel's department store. She was arrested and taken to the detention center, where she would be questioned. It wasn't long after that Erica was found to be an asymptomatic carrier, but unfortunately for the 500 plus others who were being kept on this site, as well as the staff, it was too late. The NSA site appears to be where these comms between Kelvin and the analyst were being recorded, but due to safety concerns, they abandoned the site. This is the first piece of intel from the NSA analyst Kelvin McManus storyline that happens after the outbreak has occurred. After so many alerts and warnings being presented to Cal, on 5 separate occasions by my count, that were all completely dismissed, I'm sure on a certain level the analyst is feeling a little bit vindicated by updating Cal with this news.
tech. This is a state-of-the-art simulation using augmented reality to provide your operators a realistic combat experience without having to leave the comfort and safety of the facility, and protecting your investment from prying eyes.
You don't have to sell me on the pitch. I already agreed to the test. Agents, are you ready?
Alpha, ready, sir.
Bravo ready. Good to see you again, Alex.
Vivian.
Okay, let's get this test of yours underway.
Your objective is to utilize the mobile Shade server to access intel and utilize your Shade tech to infiltrate the bunker.
Copy that.
This is gonna be fun. Oh look, you did use my fire turret after all.
Only for the simulation. They are not suitable for the field, Viv.
Good to know it wasn't completely wasted work. And hey, nice to confirm you can actually follow design directions. Nicely done, Alex.
Alexander Ortiz runs Cal through the simulation that Claire has been building for his agents. He leaves out the minor details of who's been paying for everything, but realistically, I don't think Cal would care. As long as he has a foot up on Natalya, I'm sure he's happy. What's interesting here is that Vivian Conley, now a division agent, is one of the agents running the simulation. After recently being let go by Ortiz Robotics, I'm sure this interaction was awkward as hell, but also that we're starting to hear more about some of the SHD tech that Ortiz have developed over time. On top of this, we hear from another agent who's become a little more prominent over recent months, Agent Johnson. Perhaps we're going to hear a little more around what he's been up to over these comps, in the lead up to present day. I'm very conflicted about Johnson. I don't trust the fact that he has suddenly appeared, but at the same time, he is a figurehead for the Division too. If you haven't read the EXTREMIS Malice comics, I'll have a link in the right-hand corner now. He plays out like a character who should absolutely be trusted. So while I think we're potentially going to have a run-in with him, I think he'll be a part of it for the best of reasons, and could possibly lead us to once again questioning whether we're the good guys.
What did he say?
That farmers wouldn't have a leather briefcase.
Does he want me to make it look like a toolbox instead?
No, just make the outside metal and remove the insignia. Have the phoenix on the loading screen.
Huh. Those are actually good notes.
I thought so too.
Might be easier to waterproof, and definitely will be easier to conceal with other metal objects than making a farmer seem like a lawyer.
I think we could get him to sign off on production if he could see it in action.
A field test to prove the usage.
Exactly.
In the simulation room or in the field?
Simulation is safer. It's easier to control the variables to get the desired outcome.
Set it up.
I'm not going to lie, I kind of feel like I'm missing something here. I hope it's not just because I'm up so late writing this, but what do farmers and briefcases have to do with anything? Are they talking about the mobile SHD server here? But if that's the case, what does this have to do with farmers? Are these planned to be distributed to farmers, far outside the major centres, as a failsafe for if the main servers are taken down? I guess that would make sense and would actually be pretty smart. The whole SHD network being taken down multiple times over the months seems like a massive flaw in the system. It seems just a little bit too obvious of a weak point. However, if this had been planned for, and a bunch of mobile servers had been scattered across the countryside, overlapping with each other, this would be exceptionally more difficult to locate and shut down.
What's the point of this? Mobile medical support. Nanotechnology deployed to do field triage. Exactly. We equipped the Warhound with one of these deployable medical support stations. They drop the station into a combat area and the nanotech goes to work, assessing the status of your operators in the field. They can cauterize wounds, administer small doses of adrenaline or combat cocktails, deploy expanding foam to stem bleeding. And you've built the nanobots for this? They are still theoretical, but the deployment mechanism is real.
We have the ones that deliver the expanding foam, but they are one-time use, and they can't fly back to the flytrap and be picked up by the Warhound.
Flytrap? That's what Alex has been calling the device that houses the nanotech. Clever.
Thank you.
This is promising. Let me know when the traps are fully operational.
This one doesn't actually seem to feed into any of the story arcs that are playing out in these Descent comms. Of course, there could be others that add to this, but I think this one might be a little bit different. I actually find these ones kind of interesting in their own right, because they go into a little bit more detail around how some of the tech works. This reminds me of a video I made a little while ago now, titled SHD Tech, Fiction or Reality. In the video I talked about drones and turrets, but this talks more around nanotechnology from a theoretical standpoint, that would eventually become the foundation of a lot of different SHD tech. It actually makes me want to go read up on nanotechnology now. God, I'm a nerd. As of today, this should bring me completely up to date with the descent comms I've collected so far, although there may have been a new one dropped today that I need to grab. I think I'm 2 to 3 weeks behind, so for those of you who are collecting them every week, I'll get there eventually. Following this video, I will release a recording of comms 1 to 20, with timestamps included. So for anyone who doesn't play Descent, who wants an easy reference point to listen to these, you'll be able to find them here. I'll continue to upload them in bundles as I collect them. Unless something significant drops for me to talk about, I likely won't be discussing any more of these until I've managed to grab a few. Otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed this and found it interesting, and Extremis Malus, Extrema Remedia.